New comic book day is upon us, so let's take a look at the books on the pull list. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and this is the pull list. It's my weekly series where I take a look at all the books coming out. I'll tell you which ones are on my pull list. We'll talk about what I'm most excited for, what I'm a little less excited for. We'll talk about a bunch of new series debuts hitting the market and new trade paperbacks, all for this week in comics, Wednesday, August 20th, 2025. August is almost over. That's crazy. Anyway, always like to get these started off with the books at the top of the pile. These are the books that I'm most excited for, given my enjoyment of the previous issue in the run, or some other factors that we may talk about with a certain book later. But these books are waiting for me behind the counter at my LCS, Fight or Flight Comics in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I'm excited about it. So let's go ahead and get started with Absolute Batman issue number 11. This is written by Scott Snyder, art by Nick Dragata. Absolute Batman is definitely in my top 3 books that I'm enjoying right now. And it's Bruce Wayne. He's in Gotham. He's Batman, but under a whole lot of different circumstances than we're used to. This most recent story arc has put him up against the Absolute Universe's version of Bane. He got kidnapped and they've been running all kinds of crazy experiments on him being Bruce Wayne, with Bane just kind of, slyly twiddling his thumbs as like the big bad, like just kind of waiting, like, all right, we'll test you. He's basically, they're taking them apart, putting them back together, taking them apart, putting them back together. And Bane is like, all right, cool. Now that you are as optimized as you're going to be, it's time for me to crush you. And so we'll see. Will he break his back? I don't know, but I'm excited to find out. Cover price on issue 11 of Absolute Batman is $4.99. Next up from Marvel Comics is Imperial, issue number 3, written by Jonathan Hickman. This has art by Iban Coelho as well as Federico Vincentini. At least the first 2 issues did. I should probably check. You know how they like to switch up art teams. Yeah, those were the right names. So there's a big intergalactic conspiracy going on. Someone is taking out like planetary leaders. And so all of the Marvel cosmos that you know of, whether it's like the head of the Shi'ar Empire, the Krees, the Skulls, the intergalactic empire of Wakanda, everything's on the table. There are forces. There is a hidden hand at play, playing them against one another. But we're 2 issues in, and I still have no idea like who the real culprit is and how close we are to really discovering that. Now, my in to this series, of course, is Black Panther and the Intergalactic Empire of Wakanda. But Marvel Cosmic is generally not my thing. I don't know a ton about Richard Rider's Nova or the Starjammers and Scott Summers' dad and Jason and all those people, all the people that you see featured in this book. It's not really my wheelhouse, but because this is going to have broader implications for Wakanda, I'm like, all right, let me stick it out and learn a few things while I'm here. It's been enjoyable and the art is really good. I really love the colors. Everything pops. So Imperial, pretty good title. Issue 3 is out this week with a cover price of $4.99. And the last book at the top of the pile this week is Detective Comics issue 1100. You guys know I've been behind on Detective Comics for quite some time, since Tom Taylor jumped on it, basically. But this issue is a little bit of a reprieve because it's a big anniversary milestone celebration issue because it's 1100. So we've got a pretty star-studded cast of writers and artists on this. I'm just going to read out some of these names on the creative team. Of course, Tom Taylor and Mikkel Hanin on the A story. We've also got a story from Greg Rucka and Alvaro Martinez Bueno. We've got a story from Mariko Tamaki with Amin K. Noelpan, who is dope. I just saw Amin K. Oh, he's on that TMNT Shredder book, if I'm not mistaken. Or is it Casey Jones? One of the two. Casey Jones. And then Dan Waters, who just had a bunch of time on Batman and is currently writing Batman Dark Patterns, is doing a story with Bill Sienkiewicz. And Bill Sienkiewicz doing comic book interiors is enough reason to buy it. I don't care if it's, only 10 of the 56 pages that are going to be in this book. And I don't know if it's just a 10-page story. Either way, I'm buying it. Cover price on this is $5.99. Really cool stuff there. Those are the only books at the top of the pile. Like I said, they're waiting for me at my LCS. And this week is deceptively light, by the way. Like, if I'm just going through my list, it's like, okay, cool, this isn't bad. Until you get to all the new number ones and the trade paperbacks coming out this week, there's a lot. There is a lot. So hold on to your wallets. Let's talk about some new series debuts that are on the radar for this week of comics. Like I said, on the radar, these are new series debuts, new jumping on points, new story arcs for new readers. So for you to jump in, this is the time to jump into one of these titles, starting with Marvel All-on-One, number 1. Marvel All-on-One is The Thing versus the Marvel Universe. And it's written by Ryan North, who is currently writing Fantastic Four. This is the type of book that, this just sounds like big, dumb fun, like Godzilla versus the Marvel Universe, for example. And The Thing was one of my favorite characters as a kid when I used to watch those reruns of the Fantastic Four animated series. And so I want to see Ben Grimm going up against a bunch of people. But this one's got a cover price of $7.99. Another new number 1 on the radar this week is Escape, number 1. This is published by Image Comics via Rick Remender's Giant Generator imprint. Rick Remender is writing this, of course. Daniel Acuna is drawing it, painting it, penciling. I don't know how you want to describe what Daniel Acuna does in books, but if you read the second Coates Black Panther run, if you read Avengers Twilight, which was by Chip Zdarsky and Daniel Acuna, the art is just really good. His art style is really good, and that's what's got me intrigued about this book. This book basically is, what's this about? I didn't write it down. Let me just read to you the solicit for Escape number 1. All right. It's a new ongoing series, by the way. It's not a mini series, but it's an ongoing war epic from Rick Remender and Daniel Acuna. Milton Shaw is a battle-hardened bomber pilot flying missions over a war-torn world ruled by a ruthless empire. When his plane is shot out of the sky, he wakes up behind enemy lines in the smoldering ruins of a city he helped burn. And in less than 24 hours, his own side is dropping the big one to finish the job. So he's got to basically unite with the civilians on the ground and, try to fight their way out of all the nonsense before the bomb finally drops. What's got me hooked on this is that all the characters in this book are anthropomorphic animals. So Daniel Acuna drawing anthropomorphic animals just sounds really interesting to me. And for what it's worth, Rick Remender always has a dope title on shelves. Like, I don't read a ton of super indie books like that, but Grommets is really good. He just did The Holy Roller. Scumbag was one he did. There's been a lot of Rick Remender titles that other people have said have been great that I've kind of they've been off my periphery. This is probably going to put a Rick Remender title on the shelves for me. Escape number 1 out this week. Cover price is $4.99. Marvel Comics is giving us a new Black Cat series, this being written by G. Willow Wilson. You know her. She created Ms. Marvel. Also, she is still writing, if I'm not mistaken, a very highly acclaimed Poison Ivy run. And that is what made me think, okay, well, it's probably going to be good. Black Cat, Poison Ivy, very dissimilar, but not that dissimilar. And apparently she's doing great work on Poison Ivy. So if you want to see her doing great work at Marvel, again, check out Black Cat, issue number 1. Over from DC, another new number 1 this week is Justice League Red, issue number 1. This basically sees Red Tornado sending out like a covert ops team. There's been a lot of new miniseries in the all-in era of DC, and I don't know how they're going to collect it. I don't know if I should just be grabbing all these different little minis and stuff like that, but they all do tell a pretty interesting story of things happening during this greater All In saga. And it's really just like you can kind of pick up whatever you want. Like, I'm sure if they tie together, you'll find out later, but I like that they all have very different styles. So, them having a covert ops team, a shadow cabinet, if you will, is pretty interesting. $3.99 is cover price on that. Next up and last book on the radar from Valiant Alien Books is Valiant Beyond, Tales of the Shadow Man, issue number 1. I know this is written by AJ Ampadu, who I interviewed a while back during the resurgence of the Valiant Universe event. They went through that whole, 2 years of Valiant, did the resurgence event, and now we're in Valiant Beyond, a brand new universe, brand new starting point for all of your favorite Valiant characters. My understanding is that the Shadow Man is one of those like horror leaning books, so probably won't be one that I pick up, but I did want to let you guys know it was out there in case it's on your radar. Cover price on that is $4.99. And those were all the books that are on the radar that I chose to shout out this week. Not all the books that are coming out. There are a ton of new books coming out this week, and if I'm going to fit any of them in my pull list, then I got to take a quick look at the budget. Now, you guys know I did a big budget purge earlier this month because it was getting ridiculous. It was getting out of hand. And so if I just stick to the list, now that I've made all my cuts, I'm only spending $46 this week. But that means I could probably squeeze in one of these. I'm leaning toward Escape number 1, although I am kind of like, I still want that Marvel All-on-One. I should just wait for that to hit Marvel Unlimited. But anyway, $46 is what I'm spending this week. And let's talk about all the books that are adding up to that total. The rest of the stack starts with Batman and Robin Year 1, issue number 10. Mark Waid, Chris Samney. Seems like a match made in heaven, but we're 10 issues in, and I've read like 3 of them. I'm buying this at this point because I want to complete the series. There's going to be a hardcover, I think, releasing in December, maybe January, and I'm absolutely going to buy the hardcover, so I'm going to be double dipping, but I don't care. It's Batman. $3.99 on that. Next up is Darkwing Duck, issue number 5, coming from the good folks at Dynamite Entertainment. This is written by Daniel Kibblesmith, art by Ted Brandt and Rose Steen. Between distributor delays and my life being busy, I've been behind on Darkwing Duck as well. But I do like that we're going to get another appearance of Megavolt, who is my favorite Darkwing villain. So I'll probably read issue 5 and, go back and read issues 3 and 4 much later. But we'll see. It should be a fun, palate cleansing book. So Darkwing Duck out this week. Cover price is $4.99. Speaking of Darkwing Duck and Disney properties, I'm wearing a Lion King shirt today, and there's actually a Lion King comic coming out from Dynamite Entertainment. I don't know when it's hitting stores. I don't think it's been officially solicited yet, but we've seen some pictures, some images, and it's being written and drawn by my man Edwin Gallman, who you guys have seen me rant and rave over his covers. Most recently, he did a couple of variant covers over at DC, one for Green Lantern Corps, a couple for Aquaman. Dude's talented. By the way, he's doing the prelude pages in the Mr. Terrific Year 1 series. So if you think you're not familiar with Edwin Gallman's work, you're probably mistaken. I'm excited about this Lion King title. That's not coming out this week, but I wanted to shout it out so that you get excited for it too. Next up is Exceptional X-Men issue number 12, rounding out the second story arc, and this is where I'm going to probably stop collecting. But it's written by Eve Ewing. The artist on the first arc was Carmen Carnero. Second arc, not so much Carmen Carnero. We are getting art by Federica Manson. So interesting stuff there. I have been so behind, and that's why this is the last time it's going to be up on the pull list. $3.99 on that. Speaking of rounding out series, Space Ghost and Johnny Quest, the Space Quest title is out this week, issue 4, and I believe issue 4 is the final issue of the run. Joe Casey, Sebastian Perez, which is the same team as the original Johnny Quest book. You can kind of see this is like a sequel to that. It's in that same continuity. I'm behind on that too. I like the A cover, which I believe is by Mark Spears, but I'm grabbing the Derek Chu variant cover because my man Haji's on it. So yeah, cover price on that's $4.99. Next on the list is Ultimate Black Panther issue number 19. I'm a couple issues behind on this as well. And apparently, spoiler alert, Killmonger's the Black Panther if you haven't seen the cover. So I got to get caught up, figure out how that man got the throne. Although my assumption is that T'Challa gave it to him willingly while he went to handle some business. You know, go get a pack of, a carton of milk, pack of cigarettes, all that stuff. So we'll see how that's going, though. Ultimate Black Panther issue 19. I can't wait to get caught up. Cover price on that's $4.99. Next up on the list is The Walking Dead Deluxe issue 119. For the last 5 years, I've been telling you guys that I've been buying this so that I could eventually custom bind them all together. And that's still the plan. Cover price on that is $3.99. It's The Walking Dead in color. And finally, last book on my pull list this week is Wonder Woman, issue number 24. Wonder Woman written by Tom King. Art, I believe Daniel Sampere is back. Felt like we were hit a bit of a lull, like that Sovereign arc ended, and then we got like a little side quest with Batman and Wonder Woman trying to solve a problem on Mount Olympus, and then we got a like flashback to when Wonder Woman and Steve Trevor first started dating, and there was like, a Mouse Man attack, and now apparently Mouse Man is back some years later, or Wonder Woman's trying to go to where Mouse Man is in control and free some American refugees. Can't lie. I read the book, obviously. I'm a little lost in the plot right now, and I think that is exactly where Tom King wants us at the moment. So I'm intrigued to see where this goes. I feel like it's been a minute since like the highs of the first 10 to 12 issues, in my opinion. So we'll see if issue 24 gets it back on track. Cover price on that is $4.99. Yeah, that's everything else on my pull list. Like I said, if I stick to my list, I'm only spending $46.34. I think I'm going to buy that Escape number 1. I think I'm going to do it. But it's time for the segment you've been waiting a long time for, at least 3 months. This segment is called Trade Waiting. Trade Waiting. These are new collections hitting the book market today as I filmed this Tuesday, and hitting the direct market on Wednesday everywhere. You can buy these collected editions. If you are somebody who doesn't like to go to the shop every single month and pick up like a little slice of story, pick these up. You get a more full experience. And we're going to start things off with the one I'm most excited about. And that is Milestone Universe, The Shadow Cabinet, trade paperback. I was going to say volume 1. It is a single volume book. This collects the full 6? Shadow Cabinet was 6 issues, I believe. But it's going to collect the full miniseries written by Joe Illidge with art. There were 2 artists. Adigun Ilhan was one. I believe Daryl Banks was the other. Dennis Cowan had some fill-ins. There was a lot of artists, actually. Adigun Ilhan was like the main artist, though. Dope. This, in my opinion, can be viewed as like the culmination of all of these Milestone Returns stories we've been getting for the last, since 2021. So 4 years of milestone storytelling basically wraps up here. Like, this series wraps it up, but also ties it in a loose enough bow that somebody else can pick it up and do some things with it later on. Speaking of later on, they just announced the Batman and Static Beyond miniseries that I'm excited about. It's in Elseworlds, and so I guess technically it doesn't even fit in with all this Milestone stuff, but it's Future Static teaming up with Batman Beyond. Like, that's exciting in and of itself. But Milestone Universe, The Shadow Cabinet, issue 1, the trade paperback, is out this week. Cover price is $17.99. And the bone that I have to pick with DC Comics, we have gotten, I'm counting them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hardcovers in this new Milestone Returns era, including Duo. 7 hardcovers. Shadow Cabinet would have been the 8th. For whatever reason, they decided to only collect it in trade paperback. We're going to talk about some other trade paperbacks coming out this week that have a hardcover solicited right beside it. I don't know why we couldn't do that for this. Anyway, off my soapbox, $17.99 on that. Next up is Absolute Superman, Volume 1. Trade paperback is coming out this week for $17.99. Or, if you like hardcovers, you can get Absolute Superman in a hardcover for $24.99. I said I was off the soapbox. Next up is Aliens versus Avengers. This is a trade paperback by Jonathan Hickman, Eastside Ribbich, the famous Avengers Secret Wars team. Aliens versus Avengers. I read the first issue and I thought it was really, really good. Way better than like a mashup like that has any right to be. But then I thought it was going to be like a quick monthly miniseries and it turned out to be like a quarterly book. Like if I'm not mistaken, issue 4 just came out like a couple weeks ago. So you could be like me and have purchased every single issue, or you could be reasonable and go buy this trade paperback. You would have saved some money too, because this is only $19.99. Good things come to those who wait, I guess. Next up from Marvel is X-Men by Jed McKay, Volume 2. You should know this collects issues 11 through 18, so everything after the raid on Graymalkin, including one of the X-Manhunt tie-in issues. But it's got a little bit more material than normal you get on a trade paperback. So that's why the cover price on it is $24.99. Speaking of X-Men, we've got X-Force by Jeffrey Thorne, Volume 2. Jeff Thorne, Marcus Toe had a really fun, X-Force series. X-Force being a covert ops team, a shadow cabinet, if you will, trying to solve threats before they happen. And it was really, really heavy on Forge, and God, the girl whose name Sage. It was Forge, Sage, Domino, all three of them heavily involved in this team. That was a crazy mind blank. Anyway, this wraps it up, and you get to learn who the big, strong, big dude was. I can't remember the big dude's name besides what his actual name is, and I won't spoil that here for you. Cover price on that, $17.99. Next up from Mad Cave Studios is Pop Kill, the trade paperback, I believe. I don't want to lie, and I don't want to look it up. Pop Kill, I think it's written by Jimmy Palmiotti. Why does that sound right to me? The point is, rival soda company families on like a espionage type mission. The premise sounded really interesting. I never added it to the pull list, and so now we got the trade paperback for $19.99. Man, I'm still not done with these trades. Well, these next 3 are actually hardcovers that you could have gotten in other formats before. But Ianu, Child of Wonder, the Library Edition, Volume 1 is coming out this week from Dark Horse Entertainment. Big old library edition. I'm excited about that. It's only $49.99. It's going to collect the first 2 volumes of Ianu, Child of Wonder. You should know, if you're not picking up that series doesn't have single issues. It only comes out in graphic novels. And so Volume 1 and Volume 2 getting smashed together, stretched out to a bigger format, and bound in a hardcover collection. Sounds fun to me. Royo Coupe on that. The artist's name, I don't remember. Godwin, aha. Something like that. Anyway, that's coming out. You should also know that Ianu, Child of Wonder, it's got a cartoon series on Cartoon Network and HBO Max. You can binge watch it right now. There's an Ianu movie called Ianu, The Age of Wonders, if I'm not mistaken. That's coming out as premiering on Cartoon Network on August 30th. I might have some thoughts about that movie before it comes out, so stay tuned for that. $49.99 on that library edition, though. Great stuff. Next up, The Batman by Tom King Omnibus Volume 1 is coming out this week for $125. Tom King, David Finch, Clay Mann, Mitch Gerrits. There's a whole lot of amazing art in this book and fun stories as well. In my opinion, this book doesn't fall off. I shouldn't say when it falls off, but in the greater internet's opinion, this book doesn't fall off until well after the events in Volume 1. I love the opening of this book. I haven't decided if I'm going to replace my standard or my deluxe hardcovers with this omnibus set. I probably am, but I'm not in any rush because it's $125. I don't want to spend right now. Cover price on that was, I said $125. Goodness. Next up, the last book in the trade waiting pile is Detective Comics by Mariko Tamaki. That's getting an omnibus as well. This kind of covers the whole, I guess technically it's the Infinite Frontier era of Detective Comics. In my opinion, this is kind of like bookended by Future State. Like Future State and then the Dark Crisis are the bookends to this event. And for me, I was not a big fan of like the magistrate and this like police force kind of taking over Gotham and everything that Future State brought that then Mariko Tamaki had to like do something with. But what was cool about it, we had Dan Mora on artwork. There's a lot of cool stuff about it. Like that looking back is like, oh, you should have appreciated this more. But I had a kid in the hospital at the time. I did not care. So I'm curious to see like how this actually reads as a whole. I didn't jump back in it until Ram V took over right after this run. Also, there was a point where Detective Comics went weekly for like the last, 12 to 15 issues. And I was like, I'm not reading this book every single week. You got me. So now the omnibus is out. $125 on that. By the way, if you're looking for any of those collected editions, you can grab them from channel sponsor Panel Bound Comics, formerly known as Organic Price Books. They are still the best place to go for collected editions, especially if you're shopping online and looking for a little bit of a discount. Speaking of discounts, I got a code for you. You can use my code BJKicks at checkout. That'll save you $2 on every order. Or in a stacked week like this one, you can buy 4 books or more and use the code BJKicks, ship it together, and get 5% off that entire purchase. I recommend it on a week like this one. But anyway, that's going to do it for me. Which books are you excited about? Which number ones are you adding to the collection? Do you have a stack of trades waiting for you at your LCS too? Because I can tell you right now, the Shadow Cabinet trade, the Yondu Library Edition, and I believe X-Force by Thorn, I already pre-ordered at my LCS. And so when I hit them up tomorrow, those will be there waiting for me. Yeah, man. Crazy world we're living in. Anyway, let me know what you got on your list. I'll see you guys in another video soon. Until then, stay safe, stay awesome, and read something dope today. Peace.